Hi all, welcome. Today we are going to do a Vinyasa practice. We're going to take it back a little to the roots of Vinyasa, and we will be holding each pose for around 5 breaths. So for many this can be a challenging practice, as for those who are more used to the flowy Vinyasa kind of practice, it can get maybe a little challenging as we hold these poses creating heat and maybe our mind begins to wander and sort of creates a bit of stress.
So try to come back to your breath through these poses, taking 5 deep inhales and exhales, practicing your Ujjayi breath, and make that the challenge, trying to stay present and observe what goes on different than in your usual practice when we hold the poses a little longer.
So whenever you're ready, we're gonna all meet in a child's pose. Feel free to make it your child's pose, knees together, apart, bolster, whatever feels nice. We're going to begin to tune into that Ujjayi yogi breath. Feeling the sides of the torso stand with each inhale. Feeling the rhythm of the ocean, that sound, very gentle sound of the ocean with each inhale and exhale.
So we will be holding these poses for around 30 to 40 seconds, which is a bit longer than usual if we're used to our Vinyasa flow classes. And for some of us, we might not be used to this, and it can become a challenging practice. So let's set the intention for today to stay present through the breath when our mind goes somewhere else, coming back through our breath. And from child's pose, shift your shoulders over your wrists, coming into plank, lengthening the tailbone back, shoulders over your wrists, breathing deeply. Don't let the hips drop. Pushing through the heels. And shift up into down dog. 5 breaths here. Usually as we hold these poses, we're looking for stillness in both mind and body. But for this first down dog, feel free to fidget and wiggle in whichever way you feel right for you. And from your down dog, you're going to shift your shoulders over your wrists, coming once again plank pose. Low ribs tying in together. Feeling the engagement of the core. And once again, downward facing dog.
From down dog, once again, shift forward, plank pose. This time we're going to hold it only for a breath. We're going to lower halfway into chaturanga. Hold chaturanga, maybe knees go on the mat for 3, 2, 1, and lower all the way down, placing the backs of the feet on the mat. Lift cobra, holding here for 5 full rounds of breath, lengthening the tailbone back, releasing any engagement in the glutes.
Crown of the head lengthens, and gently placing our toes on the mat, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Opening the stance a little, separating your feet. Walking your hands back as you shift your weight onto your feet, dropping the hips, coming into Malasana. Hands in front of the heart, holding here for 5 breaths. Taking your time to really connect with your breath. Maybe closing your eyes or keeping a gentle gaze as you take the time to set your intention for today. Today as a class, we set the intention to stay present. We can either use a mantra or our breath. Use it to anchor our mind and to stay in this time and space. And gently releasing the hands, coming onto your sits bones, coming into Navasana. A couple of options here, either hands behind you, lengthening the spine, supporting the stance, or hands behind the knees. Feel free to lengthen more, drop the shins a little, or hands towards the front of the mat, making sure you're on your sits bones, not in your low back. Wherever you are, don't forget to breathe. And gently, we're going to come into Ardha Navasana, lengthening the legs forward, engaging the core, lifting the shoulders, sides of the neck are long. Breathe. We're holding. And coming back into Navasana. 5 more breaths. Last one. Making sure you're on your sits bones, not your tailbone, and the spine is long. And gently, you're going to place your hands behind you. Lengthen the legs forward. Hands either facing towards the front or out to the sides, whatever feels best on your wrists. And as you push through the big toe mounds, lift your hips, reverse plank. Glennon Doyle, an author I love, always says, "We can do hard things." It is a simple and powerful quote that I find as a great metaphor for this class. This class can be challenging to the mind and sometimes physically as well, but they're mostly poses we all know. Therefore, we can do it. We just need to breathe and stay present. Inhale and release down. Crossing your feet, placing your hands in front of you, stepping back, downward facing dog. Walking your hands back, shifting the weight onto your feet, bending your knees if needed, ragdoll. Letting the upper body hang heavy, almost as if you were letting go of any tension through the torso and draining it all through the crown of the head. If it feels right, feel free to lengthen the legs slightly if you're open enough already. And gently releasing the elbows. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up, hands in front of the heart. Standing, walking towards the front of the mat. We will continue with Surya Namaskars, 3 A's, 2 B's. This part of the class, we're going to do it in its regular breathing patterns. So we're not going to be holding it for 5 breaths. Inhale, arms up. On the exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hands next to the feet. Step or hop back through chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Strong legs. Knees lift. Downward facing dog. 5 breaths in down dog. Starting from the hands up, as you begin scanning your body, strong, long arms, lengthening through the spine, sits bones reach up. Knees bend to keep the spine long. And in the next exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or float towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, strong, long back all the way up and hands in front of the heart. 2 more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Heart guides all the way down. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, plant the hands, step or float, plank or directly into your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths. Bending the knees to really be able to lengthen through the spine and the heels reach towards the mat. From there, you can start lengthening the legs if accessible. And in the next exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Last one, arms up and forward fold. Inhale, strong long back. Exhale, planting the hands next to the feet, step or float through chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Holding here. Using this familiar pose to focus on your breath, on your intention or mantra for this class. And in the next exhale, bend the knees, look forward, lightly hop towards the front of the mat or step. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up with a strong, long back. Here we go. We're going to come through 2 Surya Namaskar Bs. Inhale, chair pose, lifting the torso, dropping the hips, making sure the knees are behind our toes. As we lengthen through the spine, broadening the collarbones. Hold. Feel the fire of this very engaging pose. And in the next exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hands. Step into plank or hop back through chaturanga. Lowering halfway, chaturanga, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stepping the right foot between both hands, lowering the back heel. Back foot stays at a 30-degree angle, lifting for warrior 1. 1 round of breath. Inhale. Exhale, lower the hands. Step the right foot back. Go through your vinyasa. Feel free to modify as you need. Flipping the feet, downward facing dog. Stepping the left foot between both hands this time. With as much control as possible. If it doesn't reach, use your hand. Lowering the back heel, warrior 1. Inhale. Exhale, lower the hands down. Step the left foot back. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 5 full rounds of breath. Inhale. And in the next exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Step or float towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Coming back through chair pose, 1 round of breath here. Inhale. Exhale, lengthen the legs, hands in front of the heart.
From here, we're going to continue and meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hands next to the feet. Step or float back. Your vinyasa meeting in downward facing dog. From down dog, step the right foot between both hands. Lengthening through the crown of the head, you're going to lift your arms next to your ears, lifting the torso 30 degrees. Feeling one line of energy from the tips of your fingers all the way through the back heel. I'm going to hold this for 5 breaths. Breathe. Stay present. With any sensation, just observing without getting highly engaged in it. Easier said than done. Inhale. And on the exhale, plant the hands next to the feet, placing the back knee down. Lengthen the front leg, half splits. Reaching the heart forward. Maybe coming onto the tips of your fingers or even blocks. As you actively press through the heel. Right hip pulls back, keeping the hips square. And gently walking the hands forward, bending the front leg, low lunge. Right hip pulls back. If the knee is sensitive, you can always place a blanket under the left knee. Palms of the hands facing each other. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Tailbone lengthens down. And placing the hands back onto the mat, placing the back toes, lifting the back knee, step back, plank pose, hold plank. Lots of planks today. And lifting the hips, downward facing dog. Other side, step the left foot between both hands. Crown of the head lengthens, arms next to the ears. Lift 30 degrees, low lunge. 30-degree lunge, how I call this. Left hip crease pulls back, pushing through the back heel. So you try to distribute the weight through both legs, not only in the front. Hold for 2 more breaths. One line of energy from the back heel to the fingertips. And on the next exhale, lower the hands down, place the back knee, back of the foot, half splits. Making sure your hips remain over your right knee, so you're not sitting back or forward. Actively flexing the left foot. Imagine as if you were lengthening that back of the leg a little more than usual as you flex the foot. And bending the left leg, lengthening the arms up, lifting the torso, low lunge. Both hip bones are facing forward, left hip crease pulls back. Tailbone lengthens. So the low ribs are tying in together. We're not just splurging the ribs out. And gently lower the hands. Stepping back, meeting in plank pose. Hold here. Breathing deeply. Pushing the hands away from the mat, rounding the upper back. Almost like finding a mini angry cat here. And shifting the hips up, downward facing dog. Here we go again, stepping the right foot between both hands. Lifting the torso up, high lunge. Bending the back leg slightly so the hips can really square off. And from there, as you lengthen the tailbone down so you're not crunching the low back, you can look to lengthen the back leg just a little more. Feeling that opening in the front of the leg. And stay here. Staying low, the knee over the ankle. Gently lowering both hands onto the mat, keeping the left hand planted, Lift the right arm up, twisting open towards the right. Make sure the right hip isn't lifting more than the left, and the right hip crease pulls back. The twist comes from the mid-back. Gently, we're going to find our way into side plank, placing the edge of the back foot. Couple options here. Supported side plank, place a foot in front of the hips. If not, one foot in front of the other. And if not, stacked feet. Heels pressing, feet flexed. Lifting the hips. Breathe. Remember, we're holding these a little longer than usual, so you might want to modify, even though you can do the full pose. Maybe to hold it a little longer, you want to modify it and do one of the variations. And gently place the right hand down, plank pose, downward facing dog. Stepping the left foot between both hands. Lifting up, crescent lunge. Bending the back knee slightly to square off the hips. Belly button pulls in and up as the tailbone lengthens down. Reaching the arms up, maybe finding a little more length through the back leg. Keeping the hips square. Breathe. And gently lower both hands down, keeping the right hand grounded. Lift the left arm up. Left hip remains low. Opening up, maybe looking up towards the left hand. Next exhale, we'll begin to transition into our side plank. Remember to do any variation that feels right for you. If we're stacking the feet, or whichever variation, we're pushing through the heels, flexing the feet, lifting the hips. Strong upper back as we push the hand away. Almost. And gently lower the left hand down, plank, meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale. On the exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or float towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold, and come all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Utkatasana, chair pose. Bending the knees, lowering the hips, reaching the arms up next to the ears, holding here. Find this class as a challenge and look at it that way, and from there, try to breathe through it. Try to stay present with it. Gently, we're going to lift the left heel up towards our glute. Taking the left foot back for warrior one. Gently placing the foot down. Pressing through the back heel. The back foot is at a 30-degree angle forward. Right knee is in the same direction as the foot. The torso is looking forward. Pressing through the back edge of the back foot. The outer edge of the back foot. And hold here for a couple more breaths. The back thigh is rotating inward, almost as if you want to square off the hips. And gently lengthen the front leg. Bring the back foot a little bit closer. Almost as if you were giving a really long step. Squaring off the hips, hands on the hips, and the heart will guide you down towards your right leg. If you tend to hyperextend your knees, micro bend the right knee by engaging the quad. And reaching your hands onto the mat, Maybe if it doesn't reach, we'll place it in blocks or on our shin. Right hip crease pulls back. And here. And gently stepping the left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold, coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Lowering the hips. Last chair, I promise. Give it your all. We showed up today to be present. And the more we can stay present through challenges and harder poses or harder times, the stronger the practice of presence becomes. Instead of practicing looking forward or back, creating anxiety, breathe through it, and gently lifting the right heel, stepping it back, warrior one on the left side. Remember, this is a challenge, but if you ever need a break, child's pose or whichever one feels best for you is always there for you. From warrior one, pressing through the outer edge of the back foot, trying to square off the hips, low ribs tie in together. Reaching the arms up, palms of the hands face each other. Maybe bending a little deeper into the front leg for that last breath. And lengthen the front leg, bring the back foot a little closer. Hands on the hips, like if you were giving a long stride, hips are squared. Heart reaches towards the leg as you fold over, reaching for the mat. Lengthening through the crown of the head. Left hip crease reaches back. Making sure the back heel is grounded, it's not lifting. If it is, then maybe you want to come up a little. And gently taking the right foot to meet the left, forward fold. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, forward fold, and come all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Stepping out for a wide angle stance along the mat. Feet parallel to each other, maybe even slightly pigeon-toed in, so they're in the same direction as the knees, protecting the knees. From here, we're going to bring the heels in like a 30-degree angle, so the feet remain at a diagonal out. We're going to bend the knees, coming into goddess pose. Arms in cactus. And we're going to feel as the tailbone lengthens. And as the tailbone lengthens, our low ribs tie in together. So we're not sticking our butt out and our chest forward. Instead, there's an engagement of the core that lengthens the core, keeping it neutral. And all at the same time, the knees are opening out, feeling the opening in the inside of the legs. Keeping it here. Trying to stay still. I know it's hard. Breathe. And gently lengthen both legs. Keeping the right foot facing out. We're going to take our sits bones towards the right as we come into Skandasana. Lifting the left foot to face up towards the ceiling. This is a very deep stretch. For some of us, it might feel quite hard. So you can always use a block to sit on, or you can place a towel under the heel to modify. If you're falling back, maybe the block. And from wherever you are, you're going to place the right hand inside of the right leg, reaching the left arm up. Opening the chest, almost as if the chest wanted to look up towards the ceiling. you. Get curious what different poses tell you and how they go changing with the longer you hold them. Gently lowering the left hand, we're going to walk both hands towards the left, coming into Skandasana on the other side. Right foot facing up, left knee in the same direction as the left foot. Modifying as necessary, reaching the right arm up, opening the chest. So if we're not modifying, but we're closing all the heart and the shoulders, maybe we want to modify just slightly so we can find a little more opening and length. Another way is coming into your tiptoes if you don't have a blanket or a block. Holding here. And now gently, we're going to try to use the core strength to come back into goddess from here. But if we feel like too wobbly, we can always use our hands to help each other, to help ourselves. Bringing our feet out to a diagonal. And now this time, opening the heels, so bringing our feet parallel to each other. Usually the feet are separated about an arm's wingspan. Interlacing our hands behind us, shoulders rolling back, and we're going to fold forward, letting arms hang heavy overhead. If this feels really tight, remember we're going to hold it 5 breaths, so you might want to use a belt or a strap or a towel to separate your hands slightly. And fold over. Breathing. If you're very open, you might even be able to tap into the soothing sensation of going upside down. This is sort of an inversion. And gently releasing the hands, planting both hands on the ground. Inhale, arm, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold, and come all the way up to standing. We're going to stay here from wide angle pose, opening the right foot, warrior 2. Opening the arms along the legs. Warrior 2 is one of the longest standing poses, so really feel that you're not cutting it short and lifting. You're really bending into that right leg, engaging that quad. Not forgetting about the back leg. Both legs are equally engaged. The outer edge of the back foot is pressing, and the right knee is in the same direction as the middle toe of the right foot. Holding here, looking forward. And lengthen through the front leg. Bring the back foot slightly closer, just enough so you can feel like you can pop the back hip back and lengthen the torso forward to come into Trikonasana. Once again, if you tend to hyperextend, this is a pose where you want to engage the quads to lift the knee and not let the knee jam back. Reaching the arm forward as much as you can. Lower the right hand, lift the left arm up. Use the right hand to press against the leg to open a little more towards the left side of the mat. Lengthen. Both sides of the torso are lengthened or straight. And lengthen all the way up, coming back through center. Release the hands, closing off the right foot, open the left towards the back of the mat. Opening your arms, warrior 2 on the left side. Again, making sure that left knee is not falling inward. It's in the same direction as the middle toe. Arms are long, and if I were to press against your hands, you would resist my push against the palms because your upper back is strong and engaged. Looking forward, Maybe bending a little deeper into that knee for the last couple breaths. And lengthen the front leg. Bring the back foot just slightly closer. Lengthening the torso forward, almost as if I were pulling you through the front hand as much as you can. And lower the left hand down. Reach the right arm up. Broadening the collarbones. Upper back is strong. Support long arms. Maybe looking up. Try not to collapse as we hold the pose a little longer. Breathe and try to keep it engaged. And lift all the way up. Closing off the left foot, we'll meet in the front of the mat, standing in Tadasana. From here, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, hinging forward. Feel free to skip the chaturangas and just meet in downward facing dog. We'll all meet in down dog, and from down dog we'll step the right foot between both hands. Rolling the back heel down for warrior two, or for extended side angle. We're going to bring the right hand inside of the right foot. I like to place it inside so we can guide our knee to not pigeon inward instead of keeping the knee in the same direction as the toe. And we'll reach the left arm next to our ear for extended side angle. Opening the chest towards the left side of the mat. Reaching the right hip crease back. Maybe looking up. Lengthening the torso. Try not to collapse onto your right thigh. We're almost there. Lengthening the torso up, warrior two. This is the last couple of standing poses. So don't give up yet. Looking forward, warrior two. And maybe when you feel like too much heat, too much building up, you can exhale through the mouth, doing a cleansing breath, releasing everything. And gently walking the left hand along the left leg, reaching the right arm up. One breath here, inhale and windmill your hands down. Step it back, plank, downward facing dog, other side. Stepping the left foot between both hands. Option, there's extended side angle, you can do it with the left hand outside of the foot. I like to place it inside of the foot. As we roll the back heel down, reaching the right arm next to the ear. I like to not place the entire palm of the hand down, just so I can really guide myself to engage the torso and not collapse down, placing all the weight on my hand. Instead, my core is active, lifting. My knee is pressing out in the same direction as the foot. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and lift the torso, warrior two. Keeping that leg bent. It's the last little bit of fire, of heat. Keeping the bend in the left leg. Walking the right hand along the right leg. Inhale, lengthen the left side of the body and windmill your hands down. Step it back, plank, down dog. Beginning to start the grounding as we come into pigeon pose, bringing the right shin forward, opening the right femur bone, the right thigh, out to open. Before we lower and surrender, finding squared hips. If you have a blanket, block, any prop, it's nice to support the right hip to help it square off. If not, just trying your best and surrender forward. Without resisting, staying present with the opening of the hip, the release of the pose. And gently planting your hands back up. We're going to swing the back leg forward, keeping the right foot inside of the left thigh, shifting the torso over towards the left leg as we fold over. If you have a strap or a belt, you can always use it to place behind the ball of the foot, helping you find more length. If not, you can walk your hands forward, guiding your heart forward, keeping the spine long. And gently lifting back up, bringing the bottoms of your feet together, Baddha Konasana, as we started the class with this time, keeping the torso long. Finding our Baddha Konasana, maybe heels a little closer in or a little further out, whatever feels best for us. Letting the knees drop out to the sides and folding forward. And gently lifting up, crossing your feet just to step back into the last down dog for today. This time, bringing the left shin close towards your wrists as you open the thigh. Lengthen the right leg back. And surrender into your pigeon. You're resisting it, feels too tight, feels just uncomfortable. You can always prop it up using blankets, pillows, lifting the torso, hugging a couple bolsters or sturdy pillows. Remembering the challenge for today that we set ourselves throughout the class. Staying present through the challenges, challenging postures, the discomfort, and try to bring comfort to it through the breath, through staying present. Instead of asking how much longer in this pose, get me out of here, try to breathe, and the sooner than you know it, be out. And gently pressing yourself up, swinging the back leg forward for Janu Shirshasana, bringing the left foot inside of the right leg, shifting the torso towards the right as you fold forward. Try to reach the heart towards the foot. guiding the spine to remain as long as it can. And reaching up once again, bringing the bottoms of our feet together, Baddha Konasana, folding forward for 5 full rounds of breath. And lengthening back up. Lengthening both legs out towards the front of the mat, Dandasana, folding over Paschimottanasana. Again, this is a nice one as we begin to ground, and if you're making this your own practice, instead of doing it such an active Paschimottanasana, you can place a couple bolsters and hug it in, making it more passive, more comforting. For an active Paschimottanasana, we're walking our hands forward, reaching the heart, elongating the spine, pushing through the heels. All 10 toes are facing up. Actively flexing both feet. And walking the hands back up, lengthening the spine. We'll find our way onto our backs. Feels nice. Bringing our feet in towards our glutes without jamming them in, just enough so they are under our knees. Arms next to the torso. We're going to lift our hips up for bridge pose, interlacing our hands under, shoulders, shoving under our back, opening the chest, keeping the thighs parallel to each other. 3 more rounds of breath. And gently release down. We're going to do it one more time, holding it for 5 breaths. Inhale, lift the hips up, shoulders under our chest, hips lift, heart pushes towards the roof of the mouth. Heels pull back. Last exhale, lower the hips down, bringing both knees into the chest, giving yourself a big hug. Opening your arms at a T out to the side, letting the knees fall over towards the right as you look towards the left. Try to stay still as we begin to ground both mind and body to settle, to prepare ourselves for Shavasana, finding stillness. And gently taking both knees over towards the left as you look over towards the right. And coming back through center, finding your way into Shavasana, releasing any control over the mind and body, feeling the weight of the body get a little heavier. Every time deeper and deeper as you release completely, letting yourself be here in Shavasana. I encourage you to take a nice, juicy Shavasana to get all the goodness of all the work that we did today. I will leave you here to enjoy. I'm grateful for everyone who joined and stuck through it. Namaste.